What if I told you that these two Scottish landscapes were once giant holes in the ground? Places where thousands of tons of coal were ripped from beneath the earth. Places scarred by industry. Places that many thought had no future. Yet today, one has become a towering monument to Scotland's mining heritage, and the other has become a scale model of the universe itself. Today, we're visiting two remarkable locations in southwest Scotland, the Barony A Frame in Ayrshire and the Crawick Multiverse in Dumfries and Galloway. Two former coal mines, two completely different visions, and two powerful reminders that even the most damaged landscapes can be reborn. Today, we're exploring something different. Most Scottish travel channels focus on castles, famous monuments, landmarks, mountains, and in this video, I'm visiting two places that tell a completely different story. They are about Scotland's past and how these local communities continue to celebrate these places. But first, we're going to explore Barony Colliery and that magnificent structure behind us, Barony A Frame, before heading south to possibly one of the most unusual landscapes in Scotland, called the Crawick Multiverse. Come on, let's go. Rising above the Ayrshire countryside is a structure that can be seen for miles. The Barony A Frame. Standing around 58 metres high, it dominates the landscape like a giant industrial cathedral. But this isn't a sculpture, it's the real thing. One of the last surviving mine headframes in Scotland. For decades, this was part of the Barony Colliery, one of Scotland's deepest coal mines. Miners descended hundreds of metres underground from this very spot, working in conditions that were often difficult, dangerous, and physically demanding. At its peak, coal mining wasn't simply an industry here. It was a way of life. Entire communities were built around pits like Barony. Generations of families worked underground. Local shops, schools and businesses all depended on the mines. The rhythm of daily life was set by shift changes and pit whistles. But by the late 20th century, Britain's coal industry was in decline. Mines closed across the country. Jobs disappeared. Communities faced enormous challenges. Barony Colliery eventually closed in 1989, and for a while, it looked like the landscape might lose this structure forever. Yet, local people fought to preserve it. They recognised that the A-frame wasn't just steel and concrete. It represented thousands of lives, thousands of stories, thousands of families. Today, standing beneath it, you get a real sense of scale. The steel legs stretched skyward. The winding wheels seem almost impossibly high above your head. And even if you've never worked in mining, it's impossible not to appreciate what this structure symbolises. It stands as a memorial to an industry that shaped Scotland for generations. What's particularly striking is how the landscape has changed. Where industry once dominated, nature has returned. Grass grows where machinery once stood. Birds fly through spaces once filled with noise and dust. And yet, the A-frame remains. A bridge between Scotland's industrial past and its future. This old colliery is actually maintained lovingly by volunteers and often by people who've had connections
to when this mine was open and maybe have had relatives work here in the past.
I think this place is special. Once it provided employment for the local community, but it still provides a lot of things for the community to enjoy. It's a great place to walk your dog, it's a great place to have a stroll, and it's a great place to bring the family.
They even have a play park and a bike track for the kids and for kids at heart.
But while the Barony A Frame preserves the memory of coal mining, our next destination takes a completely different approach. Instead of preserving the past, it reimagines the future. Just outside the town of Sanquhar lies a former open-cast coal mine, transformed into something completely different and almost impossible to describe. A place where art, science, astronomy and landscape architecture all collide. Welcome to the Crawick Multiverse. My first impression of the Crawick Multiverse was simple. It doesn't feel like Scotland. It feels like you've stepped into another world. Rolling earthworks rise from the landscape. Stone avenues stretch across the open ground. Massive standing stones crown grassy hills. And everywhere you look, the symbolism hidden in the landscape. One of the most striking features is this stone avenue, a pathway lined with towering stones that immediately evokes images of ancient ceremonial landscapes. The perspective draws your eye towards the horizon, creating a powerful sense of scale and anticipation. It's impossible not to wonder what's waiting at the end.
Crawick is situated in an area called Nitsdale, and in one of my previous videos I talked about the Southern Upland Way, and the Southern Upland Way actually comes through this area, and if you fancied taking a detour, this is very much worth your time because they've got picnic areas, they've got places where you can just sit down and rest and admire the views.
Crawick Multiverse was created by internationally renowned landscape artist Charles Jencks. His vision was extraordinary. Rather than simply restoring a former coal mine, he wanted to create a landscape inspired by the universe itself. Galaxies, black holes, comets, solar systems, the fundamental forces that shape our cosmos. Everything here has meaning. Looking at the site map, you begin to appreciate the ambition of the project. The Milky Way, Andromeda, galactic superclusters, comets, ancient settlements, geological history. It's all woven together into one enormous outdoor artwork. One of the most dramatic features is this North Point mound. Rising from the landscape like an ancient burial cairn, it's topped by huge standing stones that command spectacular views across Dumfries and Galloway. Standing here, it's easy to feel small, not just because of the landscape around you, but because the whole site encourages you to think about something much bigger than yourself. Throughout the park, you'll discover details that many visitors walk straight past. Like this fascinating installation called Solar Flare Earth Shield. The artwork explains how Earth's magnetic field protects us from solar activity. The mosaic combines geology, astronomy, and art into a single visual story. Even the stones themselves have significance. Some feature remarkable circular patterns known as Lysagon rings, naturally occurring formations created millions of years ago. Tiny geological records of ancient processes preserved in stone. That's one of the things I love about Crawick Multiverse. It rewards curiosity. The more closely you look, the more you discover. Every path, every mound, every standing stone, every carving has a story attached to it. And perhaps that's what makes Crawick Multiverse so special. It doesn't try to erase the site's history. The coal mine made this place possible. Instead, it transforms that history into something entirely new. The scars of industry became the canvas. The earth itself became the artwork.
What really struck me is that both places started from the same point. They were both coal mines, landscapes shaped by industry and extraction, but they ended up telling two completely different stories. Barony A Frame preserves memory, but the Crawick Multiverse inspires imagination. Yet, both places prove that you don't have to be defined about what you once were.
The story of southwest Scotland isn't just written in castles, lochs and mountains. It's written in places like these. Places where communities adapted. Places where creativity replaced decline. Places where history wasn't forgotten, but reimagined. From the towering steel of the Barony A Frame to the cosmic landscapes of the Crawick Multiverse. This journey has been about transformation. Coal to cosmos. Industry to imagination. Past to future. And perhaps that's why these places matter. They remind us that even landscapes shaped by hardship can become places of beauty. If you enjoyed joining me on this journey through Scotland's hidden stories, please consider subscribing. And let me know in the comments, which transformation impressed you most? The industrial monument of Barony, or the cosmic vision of Crawick Multiverse? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.